All the leaves are starting to turn golden brown. Whips out their pumpkin spice latte. A sweet potato pie comes on.
Sweater weather. Oh, God, I win. Finally.
The comfort foods start coming. It's almost time for Christmas. That is what I like. And I thought, it's time for a horror film. What fragrance would remind you of that film? Or what do you think that film would smell like? Let's get into it. So The Evil Dead Rise, 2023 horror enterprise of the Evil Dead films. It's not a sequel. It is in the same universe of all the other films. Whole new cast, whole new set of characters. And I really enjoyed all of them. Even the little boy. It's one of those horror films where if it wasn't for the action of one person, then none of the film would have happened. Everybody gonna die. Evil Dead Rise, Evil Dead franchise, if you don't or haven't heard about it, is from Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell. Sam Raimi is the director and creator of the franchise. In the 80s when the film came out, I don't think they realized how much people were going to grasp onto it, but I think Sam Raimi is one of those directors that's really good at putting light touches and light moments in really dark, horrific, graphic scenes. And I think it's because of this why he said such longevity, because I don't think any other director can do what he does so well. But then sometimes if you let him go off the rails, he'll make something like Spider-Man 2 and give us emo, dark Spider-Man. And we all know what a disaster that was. But when it came out, I didn't think it was that bad, because I just watched the majority of the Evil Dead films. So I got it. I just don't think everybody else got it.
That's suspicious.
And I don't think the actors enjoyed themselves. If you see interviews of the actors at that time when the film came out, they were just all like, could not be bothered to promote it at all.
I do have my own action figure. How is it? I just saw it the other day. There's actually 2 of them.
Evil Dead Rise, which does many nods to the actual Evil Dead films. It starts off with a red background, which is exactly like the poster for the Evil Dead, the first original Evil Dead film. And then you get this sort of soundscape of buzzing flies, which was something that was put in the first Evil Dead film. There was always the sound of like flies buzzing around in the background. And it's always a nod to like death, destruction. I feel like every artist has like their signal for death. Salvador Dali, ants. Edgar Allan Poe, ravens. David Lynch, dirt. Ants. I feel like every artist has something. They all kind of revolve around that symbolism. This one starts off and we meet our 3 sort of stereotypical main characters. You've got the jock, the beautiful teenager, and the bookworm. And you've got to pick which one out of the 3 is gonna get possessed. The way that this director did it was kind of funny. Bookworm sort of goes with this girl who I think is supposed to be her cousin, and she sort of says her cousin's passed out, the boyfriend's given her like Klonopin, don't do drugs. She's just absolutely passed out, and she's reading Wuthering Heights. And I was trying to find the connection of Wuthering Heights. The person that's reading it is supposed to like emulate the main character, maybe. I don't know. Reading Wuthering Heights, she asked the cousin, she's like, can I take your car and leave this place because there's nobody else here? And she just like grunts in her sleep. But then she starts reading off the passage that she's reading in Wuthering Heights as she's reading it, which is extremely creepy. Fast forward, next thing you know, pew pew, everybody dead. Enter our main character, one of them, sound engineer. She's a sound engineer on the road for a band. We find out that she's pregnant, sister of a single mother who has 3 kids. When you're on the road all the time with bands and a baby, it's a very demanding job and it's a very demanding life being a mother. So she goes to visit her sister one every time to be part of her family, so you can have a slice of morality pie together.
Pie in my head.
Important part for me explaining, Mommy is a tattoo artist, which is what gave me the inspiration for the fragrance that I thought would remind me of this film. So she goes to see the sister, and the sister's not exactly pleased to see her because she's trying to call her, because her and her boyfriend, they don't really qualify their relationship, just know the father of the kids is no longer in the picture, and They're all about to be evicted out of the almost condemned building in a month's time. She sends the kids out so the sisters can talk, and the kids go and get pizza. And in pizza, a massive earthquake starts. And it's at this point,
this moment, that he knew.
I knew they fucked up. Much like what happens in the other Evil Dead films, it overplays this very gloomy, weary, uncomfortable atmosphere. The ground is broken through, and the son decides he wants to explore. Why there's always got to be one curious one that's like, ooh, what's down there? None of your business. Go upstairs with the pizza. Obviously, he doesn't listen to that little voice in the back of everybody else's head, and he goes down there and finds something he really shouldn't have. There were warning signs. There's many warning signs, and I feel this is something that happens in every single Evil Dead film. It's like they give the characters warning signs like, don't touch this, maybe you shouldn't touch this, maybe you shouldn't be here, and they just ignore it. But then I was thinking, if it was real life and this happened, would you ignore it? You keep doing something and doing something, you know it's bad for you, but you just keep on doing it. Maybe it's a bit realistic. Like, we all like yell at the characters on the screen to be like, no, don't do it, you're an idiot. But that's just because we know. But I feel like in real life, we actually just do the stupid thing. The boy brings the book back and he sprinkles a little bit of sauce on it accidentally while he's trying to open it. And this awakens something in the book. There were also some records down there, and the son thinks he's a bit of a DJ, so he starts playing them. And if you've seen the Evil Dead movies, you know what's happened next. But when you say things that have words in the book, you're usually about to raise some spirit.
Bombastic side eye.
No time for worry about that because the kids need to have their clothes done. Mom goes out, she gets stuck in the elevator in the worst way possible. And when she comes out, she is not the same. She starts threatening the kids in a way. Eventually she ends up convulsing and just, they can't wake her back up. Like, okay, right, we need to get her some help. But unfortunately the stairs are gone and there's no other way out of the building other than the staircase that's in a condemned part of the floor that they're on. Nobody has the keys to get into the apartment. So they are stuck and the elevator is broken. So other people that are on the floor decide that they are going to try and open the apartment with some tools that they have, because one of the guys is a contractor, I guess. That'll be important for later on. They start getting the tools out. Not before Mummy gets thrown out and she just starts taking everybody out one by one. She's on full deadite mode. Can't stop me now. I'm having such a good time.
There's people that are dying.
And they do this really amazing like fisheye lens. She's looking through the hole trying to get the youngest kid, Cassie, to let her in, and she's saying anything to get this cat to let her in. She's attacked one of the other children and they start just Billie Eilish style crying, black tears coming out of everywhere. Mama gets in, they think they've disposed of her, and then the other kid comes. She's chewing on glass in the corner. And there's just never a dull moment. Like, it just keeps going. And I think that's why I like it, because the momentum is just there. But it had to be. Because if you had too much time to think about what was actually happening, you'd be like, there's no way. Eventually all the kids but one and the sister get taken out, which leads me to my favorite scene, because it reminisces from one of my favorite horror movies, The Shining, where they get trapped in the elevator and the elevator drops down, not before they've been trapped in like this big massive pool of blood. It made me think, like, if the elevator drops and there's two people inside and it just does a free fall, does that liquid serve as like a cushion so that it impacts the fall? Because I feel like in reality that liquid is not stopping you. If anything, it would make more of a force. But I digress, I'm not a physicist. Comes crashing down, ding, blood river everywhere. They have the final showdown and it's all of them together. They've melded to one, and I just thought this was a really great way to elevate the Deadites to the next level, because we've seen them like various limbs get decapitated. We know they will never die, but this is something that I never thought. They're just like one mesh together, one horrible, like the Thing, steaming pile of humans coming for someone. And maybe that's where they took the idea from, but I never would have thought to put that in the Evil Dead thing, but it makes sense because it's just that level of body horror grotesque. And the film just does a really good job of keeping you entertained, not keeping it lighthearted enough so that you're not still engrossed in the film. Like, it's not that level of high camp slapstick taken out of the world, and it's still got enough of a gritty, dark edge to it with the way that it's filmed, that even the brighter colors are really muted and dulled and green and gray, and everything's very bleak. But obviously you have to have that one glimmer of hope in that final girl who calls out a very famous line from the Evil Dead movies with a famous
Come get some.
"Come get some" chainsaw. I was just like fangirling. I was like, oh my god, she said it. I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was that bad. Will I watch it again? Probably not. Do I think it's a classic? No, but I think it's a good addition to the Evil Dead series and a good step forward in the horror movie genre. Is it going to win prizes? Maybe, for the makeup is really, really good. And the main actress in it, who plays the main Deadite, she's just like chewing up scenery left, right, and center. Like, she's amazing. Based in Vikings, Scent, that I thought really stood out, was going to remind me, not remind me of this film, but made me think, yeah, I could see somebody who liked this film wearing it, or who was inspired by this film wearing it, especially when it's coming to Halloween. It is by the house Acro, which has been very popular. They've had a couple of releases quite recently. They've got the latest one, I think, is called Awake. Also, for earlier in the spring, they had Bake, which I really wanted to try because it sounded like a really nice lemon gourmand fragrance. But I thought, this is the first one that I'm going to try from that house. I've not tried anything else before, but I have had my eye on a lot of the scents. I thought Bake was going to be the one that I would save up my pennies for a bottle one day. But this ink, nod to the mother being a tattoo artist, and I thought something that was like sort of gritty and reminded you of that gritty, earthy, metallic, earthy, battery-like smell. And especially in their house when she's like soldering the tools and stuff, it must have like a scent of metal coming out of everywhere. So I thought this would be a good nod to the film. And immediately it's just, if you don't know what ink smells like from like a tattoo parlor, you have a printer at home, just take the ink cartridge out of the printer. This is exactly what this smells like when you first put it on. Smell the metal, you can smell that earthiness. You can also smell the sort of plastic keeping the ink. It's not an easy scent to wear. It's probably one of those where you would like, why would you want to smell like ink? So it has vetiver, there's a woody note, and jasmine. As it sort of calms down a bit, the skin, and it settles, you can sort of smell the vetiver. You can definitely smell the jasmine. That ink, you can smell from the moment you spray it until the moment it wears off on your skin. Like, that is the strongest note in it. And I think a lot of people kind of find it hard to wear. It is very gritty and dark, dingy, but there is something else in it that you keep going back to go, what is that? And I really, really liked it. And I thought it's a lot like the Evil Dead films. It's gritty, it's dark, it's horrific, but there's a lightness, there's a humor, there's something else in it that keeps you going back. Like the scent, it keeps you going back to keep on watching it, even though what you just saw was bad. The scent isn't bad, it's just something unfamiliar from what you usually smell in perfumes. But I like it. I think it's maybe Moorish is the word. Can I see myself wearing it on an everyday? No, but for an occasion where I know I'm maybe going somewhere that will be appreciated, or there's people that are alternate, I would probably wear it. Yeah, I would probably wear it. Will I buy a full bottle? No, probably not. Because it's not something that I'm going to be wearing every day. It is a special occasion scent. And it is very, very, very powerful. Like, you do not need a lot and you can smell it straight away. Ink Acro is what I thought would be the best way to round off this film, Evil Dead Rise. Let me know if there's something else that I could have tried you thought would have fit better, or if there's other scents that you could have thought of. But I thought this was a good match, and hopefully you did too.